In 1767, Englishman Joseph Priestley first discovered a method of infusing water with carbon dioxide to make carbonated water. Priestley was so fascinated by his new beverage that he published a paper on it, and he decided to name it Impregnating Water with Fixed Air. Interesting title choice. Then, in 1819, the first soda fountain patent was granted to Samuel Fanstock. His invention combined flavored syrup and water with carbon dioxide to make the fizzy drinks, and they caught on instantly. The first soda fountains were installed in drugstores in an effort to get people picking up their meds to stay longer and hopefully spend just a little more money there. Typical soda fountains featured long countertops, swivel stools, and a mirrored back wall, all of which helped attract the attention of young and old alike. Two of the world's most popular beverages got their start in a soda fountain. In 1886, Coca-Cola was first sold to the public at a pharmacy in Georgia, and for a short time included actual cocaine in its ingredients. Pepsi's creator, a pharmacist named Caleb Bradham, sold his beverage in his own drugstore in 1898. Sodas were considered a sort of medical drink, and drugstores claimed that they could cure headaches and give you a boost of energy. Prohibition gave soda fountains a boost in the 1920s, as they served as a stand-in for pubs. Booze became legal again in 1933, but soda fountains were the hangout spot of choice for teenagers across America. And during World War II, Coke would make a deal with the US government that would skyrocket their sales. To show support for the brave men and women overseas, Coca-Cola President Robert Woodruff ordered that every man in uniform gets a bottle of Coca-Cola for 5 cents, wherever he is, and whatever it costs the company. By the end of World War II, over 5 billion bottles were distributed to those in uniform. But soda fountains wouldn't remain the top hangout spot for long. In the 60s, their popularity began to fade. Young people were more interested in social justice and talking about the political and economic state of the world right now. But soda companies had a solution for that. With bottled soda on the rise, you didn't need to go out to a pharmacy to get your fix, and more people were drinking soda at home than ever. By 1970, Coca-Cola was selling approximately 4 billion cases annually. But the 1980s is where the soda industry really took over the world. All due to one key thing. In 1984, Pepsi knew they needed to get young people to buy their drink and remain lifelong customers. So they hired someone who knows how to give kids memories they'll never forget, Michael Jackson, handing out Pepsis to kids in the street and telling them that they're the new generation. This was around the time where soda companies switched from sugar to corn syrup in their drinks, since it was way cheaper to produce. Coincidentally, this was the same time that the world started seeing a major uptick in obesity, diabetes, and heart disease. Coke and Pepsi wouldn't let you think that they contributed to that, though, since all their commercials revolved around famous athletes or young, healthy people being active. And while soda companies didn't overtly sell to children, an ex-Coke marketer said,
as soon as they turn 12, I'm like a rabid dog on a something.
But ads with basketball players wasn't enough to convince the public that their 150-calorie can was healthy enough to be drinking every day. So soda companies did something arguably worse than advertising directly to preteens. Coke and Pepsi decided to fund multiple health studies to, in their words, innovate, ensure their products are safe, and address public health concerns. And soda companies currently fund 96 health groups in the US, despite the fact that America has a severe obesity problem, fueled in part by the overconsumption of sugar. The soda industry saw a steady rise from the 80s to the early 2000s. In 1999, peak soda consumption was reached, with sales reaching a number that equals 50 gallons per person per year. But that's not even the craziest thing. Did you know that Coke invented Santa Claus? Well, kind of. Let's go back to a time when the closest thing we had to Santa was the Christian bishop St. Nicholas, who allegedly raised children from the dead after they were pickled by an evil butcher. In the 1930s, artist Fred Misen painted his Santa drinking a bottle of Coca-Cola in a department store. This ad campaign was so successful that Coke produced stuffed animals, merchandise, toys, oil paintings, and many advertisements that, to this day, are collectibles, some even on display in museums. Which brings us back to the current day, where soda is not only supposedly healthy, but it's the official drink of the Olympics and LeBron. And maybe if you drink more Coke and Pepsi, you could also be like LeBron, or the little Russian gymnasts who can do this. As if there was any room for Coca-Cola in his diet. In 2017, people finally started to realize how much soda was contributing to the rising epidemic of obesity, heart disease, and type 2 diabetes, as bottled water sales outperformed soda for the first time. But that's not going to stop soda companies from trying to bypass your logic and make you emotionally attached to their products. They want to make sure you know that for every one weapon sold in the world, 20,000 Cokes are sold. These days, there are plenty of better options than the traditional high-fructose corn syrup classics, Olipop, LaCroix, and Liquid Death, to name a few. At the end of the day, it's up to you whether the occasional soda is that detrimental to your health. But it's important to know that these companies design a product for you to build a dependency on, advertise it to you when you're young, and reinforce that through emotional loyalty in their advertising and branding, like making the face of Christmas their company colors. As you can tell, product marketing is important to a business. If you want to see how one-man branded shrimp as a magical pet that comes to life before your very eyes, watch this video here.